Hey everybody, I don't know about you, but I am so COVIDed out. like this has been the most insane. It's only been like 3 months really of complete insanity. A little bit longer, but the complete insanity has been not that long. So what I do each night is it affects me. It's affecting my own health, which I work real hard at keeping my immune system built up through proper dietary choices and exercise and whatnot. But it's really taking a toll on me, the stress, the confusion, the just seeing what's going on and not being able to really stop it. It's very, very stressful, causes a lot of adrenaline. Got 4 little ones I got to worry about. If it was just me, well, 4 little ones and a queen. If it was just me, it'd be fine. I'd be ready to fight. Just say, bring it. Whatever happens, happens. But now I really got to look at, what's going to happen to the kiddos and their future. I know a lot of you are facing the same thing. So what I do is I go for a nice walk. Walk about 3 miles every night. It's like a 5K. It's so beautiful here in Central Florida. You can see behind me. Look at that. It's the only place really in Florida where there's hills. And we have massive skies. There's just like, the skies are big here. I'm not getting very good focusing. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's behind me there. There's the moon. But it allows me to, normally I have earbuds in. I've got those in my pocket right now. Listen to some good music and just kind of drift away from the chaos. Because I literally feel, I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm living in like a daily edition of the National Enquirer. Try to think back to when you actually used to stand in line at the grocery store, close to the person in front and behind you, and you look over there on the magazine rack and there's National Enquirer with like crazy headlines like alien abduction, man in Oklahoma describes an alien ship that took him up there and probed him and implanted things inside of his brain, and now he feels he's controlled by him. That's almost like, that doesn't even seem like shocking if that were to really happen. I mean, if that really like happened right now, I'd be like, oh, wow, that's it? You didn't stay up there with him? And sometimes I think like maybe, half the human race has been hijacked and been replaced with aliens. I mean, you almost got to think some of these politicians that are coming up with these crazy ideas and just things that are killing us and our economy. You almost think like they can't be humans. They got to be like demons or aliens or something crazy, because the things that they do just they don't make sense. Right here in Orlando, they've canceled fireworks for everybody. Independence Day coming up. Shouldn't be able to celebrate that. But Mayor, what is his name? Jerry. I don't even know his name. Mayor. I'm so out of it. Mayor Demings or whatever his name is, basically has told the citizens of Orlando that you can't assemble, celebrate 4th of July down here. However, we're going to allow Black Lives Matter to come and have a big old protest and then a block party afterwards. A Marxist group. You can look on the rest of my page. You can see there's a video. They admit it. This is the crazier thing for me. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around all of this, because these people that are absolutely killing us and just ripping our lives apart and our country and our Constitution and just all the things that, all our hopes and our dreams for what a good life would be, they admit it. Like the one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matter has openly admitted to being a fully trained Marxist. And we have politicians kissing their ass welcoming them to our city and bowing down to all their demands. They're demanding stuff that's it's communistic. We're looking a lot like China. Just look around you. Everybody's scared to death. Everybody's wearing a cloth mask, even though all the health experts actually advised against it initially and said, oh, it's actually worse for you to put them on. So if you look, majority of Americans are on some kind of a pharmaceutical, whether it be for depression or ADHD, if that's even a real thing. Depression, or they're on drugs for schizophrenia. There's all kinds of these psychedelics, antidepressants. And now we're going to put a covering. Watch. Let's try this. This isn't even very restrictive. I'm struggling right there. I've had allergies my whole life. I can't do that. So now we're going to take people who have these daily doses of these pharmaceuticals, and then now we're going to put a bacterial breeding ground right here at their entry point of their most precious commodity, oxygen. And then when they expel out their bacteria and their viral load and toxins, that's what happens. Look at a car. When you drive, what comes out of the back of it? Toxins. That's what comes out of us. Those are toxins. Take a car and clog up the air intake. Just put a sock in there. Put grandma's material, she made the fancy looking face mask. Put that inside your intake. Tell me how good your car drives. Cars have a greater ability to withdraw air into the engine than our nose has to draw air into our lungs. And that wouldn't operate properly. So when all this started, wow, magnificent. Let me see if I can give you a look at that. I can't get a good, there you go. Whew. I wonder if they're gonna stop. All right, so when all this craziness started happening, I wasn't buying any of it. And I told everybody to pay attention, that there's definitely got to be something else behind the curtain. Something far bigger than COVID-19. Something far bigger. And now I want you to, if you doubted that back then, that's okay. I mean, none of us want to believe that any of that's really going on or even possible. And what you got to do is now just look around. Look around you. Look at the headlines. Go downtown if you live in Seattle and see how that's going. 4th of July, go down and celebrate here in downtown Orlando. See what's going on there. Look at all the fires. Look at the unemployment statistics. Look at the businesses that are going under left and right. Look at the massive national debt that's going to create hyperinflation. And then tell me it's about COVID-19. You've got race wars. You have political party wars. You've got mask wearers versus non-mask wearers wars. You've got social distancers versus non-social distancers. There's this mass chaos everywhere. Schools, they want to put masks on kids. Every single medical publication out there has come out. It's global. Says, we don't get it, but kids don't really spread this stuff. And they're hardly affected by it. Yeah, we're going to put them in school 6 feet apart. And we're going to put masks on them and test their temperature throughout the day. And if they get a cough or a sneeze, the parents have to come pick them up immediately, and everyone in the household must quarantine for 14 days. I mean, this is, oh my gosh. Wow. You know what? Despite all this craziness, I mean, God is such an amazing artist. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. I get distracted easily when I'm out here walking around by the beauty of it all. But Where were we? Anyway, it's the chaos. It's insanity. Absolute insanity. Here's what I'd like you to do. If you've listened to me ramble for this long, do me a favor. If there is a statistic out there, if there is a mandate out there, if there is a protocol out there that has been implemented by the leaders that you 100% trust, let me know what it is. I want to know what it is, because so far I haven't been able to really find trust in any of it. So what really, really pisses me off is that our entire society is willing to do things that are not good for them, either their health, their financial stability, their spiritual wellness, their mental wellness. They're willing to allow full deterioration of those items based on data that's fraudulent. I mean, I don't know really what to tell people to do. What I do is this, is if somebody tells me something that is a lie, then I don't go with it. This isn't rocket science, but I'm bewildered. I don't understand it. I'll go over a few things. And I didn't plan this. I thought I'd get on here and just say hi. But let's keep talking. Why not? I'm on a nice walk. You can join me. Sorry, it keeps getting bright behind me. It must be the global warming. See, it's having these hot flashes. We got 12 years to live, according to AOC and her Sunrise Movement. A bunch of little kids. We'll talk about that another time. But okay, let's talk about it. So they openly admitted that the death count is not real. Number one, the biggest problem. Death count's not real. They've admitted it from the beginning. COVID-19 just needs to be listed somewhere as a potential cause of death. Doesn't need a confirmed laboratory positive rating. It just needs to be, well, we think this person possibly died of it, so yeah, it's a death. So all these numbers started happening. So now they're really enforcing that even further, because it got to a point where some of the states were like, nah, we're not cool with this anymore. It was already too late by then. But then CDC has put out some recent guidances that says, hey, listen, yeah, just as long as this person had 2 symptoms, yeah, you can mark it as COVID-19. And nearly everything that you experience in your daily activities is now a symptom of COVID-19. I mean, if you sneeze and have a headache, you got COVID. If you cough and you have a temperature, you have COVID. It's crazy. So I can't trust that stuff. Do you trust that stuff? I don't know. Do you? I hope you don't. If you do, oh my gosh, sorry. So you got the COVID deaths. Then you have the case reporting. Just recently, I watched a video. It's up on my wall. I think it's Collins County, Texas. City council members got together and they had their health official come in, and health officials like 150 pounds overweight. I'm not judging. I mean, hell, I was overweight. It was awful. It was because I ate horrible food and I wasn't healthy. Horrible food and drank a lot of alcohol, partied too much, and didn't exercise. This health official looked like she was possibly in the same boat. And she's a health official. So number one thing I don't trust is a health official who is not healthy tell me what's healthy. So that's a big problem. This health official introduced the new policies to this county in Texas, and she's like, okay, here's how it goes. If a person tests positive for COVID, then we've determined that there are 16 additional probable cases attached to that one person, because the person's probably gone to work, probably has gone to the supermarket, probably goes home and has family members. So we feel as though on average people come into contact with 16 people. So what you need to list out on your reporting is 17. I'm not making it up. So I can't trust that. So all these inflated spikes that are going on, where now they're trying to tell all of us that, hey, we're going to make you wear a bandana over your face that's going to prevent a pandemic from spreading, or you can go get a grandma can go to Hobby Lobby and get some some Paisley. It's starting to crack me up because it's absurd. It's absurd that this is real. Paisley material that's going to stop COVID, and it's not going to make you sick anymore. We weren't being honest then, so you can't trust that, right? How can you trust those numbers? So then all you got to do is look before the so-called pandemic, if it's really a pandemic, and look at Event 201 that happened in October 2019, where they had a exercise funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, co-funded with Johns Hopkins University. You know, the one that just had that glamorous COVID map immediately as soon as COVID hit? All of a sudden they had this massive infrastructure. I mean, I can't get someone to build a website that's 4 pages long and it's quicker than 2 weeks. And they had a massive operation. It was, they created it in just a couple days. It's pretty amazing. But so they ran through a whole exercise with all these globalists, global leaders, if you want to call them leaders, global demons. One of them was the head of the Chinese CDC. Go through an exercise as if a pandemic were to hit. What would we do? That pandemic would be a type of a novel coronavirus. They were smart. They said this one would originate from pigs, like a swine flu. And it would originate down in South America, not China. And you can see where it was spreading, and it somehow missed New York City. And it would cause, respiratory symptoms that would lead to pneumonia and eventually, like the respiratory distress syndrome. Does that sound familiar? Makes me not trust that either. Now the latest, if you see the headlines in China, there's supposedly a swine flu that could be the real pandemic, and Bill Gates is giddy. He's excited about it. He said, this one is sure to get your attention, or whatever he said, and had this little smug smirk on his face. I mean, this guy's evil. It's hard to imagine that people like that actually exist. Founder of Microsoft is a global just destroyer. He's just a destroyer of human beings. He's been kicked out of a lot of countries because his vaccine program has paralyzed and killed a lot of people. But he wants to give that to everybody in the United States. Really, they say that the only way to go back to normal is if everybody gets a COVID-19 vaccine. That vaccine is going to kill a lot of people. So, if you decide to take it, just know that that's a real risk. I'm not trying to frighten you. I'm just giving you reality. And just like a lot of people said, no, you're being too extreme. There's nothing else behind the curtain. This is a real virus. I saw it on CNN. It's a real deal. There's nothing behind the curtain. Well, you watch. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to take the vaccine. And there's going to be a lot of people dying. And then they're going to say, oh, that's from this new swine flu virus that made its way over here. That's what it you got to understand correlation and causation. The vaccine's wonderful. So be prepared for that. What other stuff can we not? I can't trust doctors that change their stance on things like overnight, like Dr. Fauci. I mean, social distancing. That's what works. That's what works. And then he went on an interview about Tinder and said, if people want to hook up off Tinder and they get together and they want to get a little bit more intimate, they could take the mask off or whatever. And, if they're okay with the risk. And I've had people tell me, I trust Fauci. This guy is locked. He's a scumbag. How can anyone try? How could someone not see his lies? He talked about masks, how bad they were for people to wear. Horrible. I mean, 60 Minutes called him out after his initial statement about masks, and they said, now listen, there's a lot of people relying on you for this data. Should people wear masks or not? He goes, absolutely not. In the middle of a pandemic, these masks aren't going to do anything to stop the spread. Matter of fact, it's going to cause healthy people to become sicker. And let's face it, people don't have access to the correct masks, and people don't know how to wear the correct masks if they had them. You got to be a medical professional trained on how to wear these things. So, I can't trust him. His buddy at the Surgeon General, this guy with his lisp. I mean, I just can't. I'm sorry. I know I have a funny voice, so I'm sure I get picked on about it, but this guy, I mean, when I think of Surgeon General, I think of just, this guy needs to be a stud, healthy, strong, built. This is the way it sounds. This guy, he comes out, says the same thing on multiple news segments, as well as coming out on his own page on Facebook and telling people, look, don't wear masks. It's bad for you. It's going to make you have a false sense of security. Plus, you're going to fiddle around with it too much, and it's going to increase your chances of catching the COVID if it's there. You know, you're going to catch it. Then he tweeted out on March 2nd. He said, "Quit buying masks, people. It's not going to help you. It's not going to prevent the spread." 4 days later or something, oh my gosh, this guy had like a sewing class on how to make a homemade mask. So when these people tell you to stop living and you stop living, shame on you, man. Shame on you, because you took advice from somebody who was absolutely out to kill you. It's just crazy. I mean, what if they told you that in order to quit the spread of COVID-19, you had to cut off the top portion of your left pinky, because they've determined through some of their analysis that that's where it resides, and that's really how it's transmitted? Would you do it? Man, what else can we not trust? Okay, then they said, okay, this stuff lives in the air for like 4 hours, 3 hours, whatever. It lives on cardboard for 48 hours. It can live on steel for a week. It can tolerate temperatures of 133 degrees. Oh my gosh. And when scientists were like, well, let's look into this, they did their actual analysis. They said, oh, wait a minute. Stuff doesn't live that long. It's detectable maybe, but it's not like infectious. Who was it? Was it Robert Brown? What's that guy's name? Head of something, comes out and says, yeah, this stuff anywhere above 75 degrees in direct sunlight lives for less than 1.5 minutes. Now all of a sudden they close the beaches down. Don't go in the sun. So bad for you. And we've linked a majority of people who have had serious, events happen from COVID are vitamin D deficient. So stay inside. Don't get any more of that good stuff. Wait a minute. Did we just say that? It's just nuts. So how can you trust that? None of those are accurate. It does not live that long. No viruses do. There aren't any out there. And by the way, if this was a pandemic, you wouldn't need the news to tell you it's a freaking pandemic. Your neighbors would be dropping like flies. I live in a neighborhood with over 330 homes, and nobody's died in here of COVID. And if they did, I'd be suspect on that death certificate. Had heart disease, was diabetic, 200 pounds overweight, COPD, but had a cough and a headache, COVID. So it's probably out there. There's a lot of viruses out there. We get viruses every day and nobody discovers. But it's not a pandemic. It's not, people. If you think it is, and you got to stop watching TV. Just try it. Quit looking at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the news, and the newspapers. Really, just unplug from everything. The radio, don't listen to anything. Don't listen to any news. And even the stuff that's independent news channels. Just don't listen to any of it for like 2 weeks. The only way you're going to feel like something's going on is because you'll see a bunch of scared people with masks on. So that really might not work. Had we tried this before the mask mandates, you wouldn't know that COVID existed. Nobody would. You know, now when you get a sniffle and a cough, and heck, I mean, I've been there too. Got 4 kids, and those had the sniffles. I'm like, oh crap. Yeah, we probably all had COVID. It's a virus. Most everyone overcomes it. So you can't trust that. Then you got to look at New York. I know, let's first look at the news. Man, this is turning into a long video, but we're having a really good walk. And if any of you have hung out on it with me for this long on this walk, I appreciate it. You're probably getting something good out of it, I think. If you're not awake, you're waking up. You got to be waking up a little bit, maybe a tiny bit, and that's worth it to me. Look at the news channels. You got CBS. You know, in Italy, which was that, a lot of those were inflated numbers. Afterwards, they've even gone back and said, probably 90-something% of these weren't really COVID-caused deaths up there in the northern part of Italy. But, you know, these hospitals were overrun. And let me tell you something. I have family over in Italy. Hospitals are already overrun. It wasn't COVID that overran them. It's a socialist system over there. And whenever anything is government run, where the government either has to pay out or receive money, they don't make it really good for you. And we have all these young kids right now like, we need socialized healthcare. Okay, so if the government has to spend money on hospitals and that's the only way you get healthcare, don't expect them to be nicely equipped. All right, so anyway, get back to the Italy story. So there's this picture of all these people dying inside of this beat up looking hospital, and there's chaos everywhere. They didn't show anyone really, nothing happening. They just showed, you know, a couple doctors, you know, flippantly walking over this way, going over that way. Well, that same photo was posted on CBS as a U.S. hospital. And they got called out and they did their apology and everybody's okay, they apologized. It's a blatant lie. CBS was not too much later, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month, I don't know. It seems like way back in the old days when we could actually, like, you know, go to the movies or we could go bowling or stuff. Way back there, like in February. It seemed like that was like a decade ago, so I lost track of time. But so not too much later in this massive chaotic moment, CBS airs a story at Cherry Hill Hospital showing this long line of people getting ready for testing. And man, everybody's coming in with symptoms. And there's undercover independent journalist there that has them all mic'd. You know, he's mic'd, so he gets everybody recorded, you know. And it wasn't really people there that were getting tested. It was hospital employees that were volunteering to deceive you. The nurses were like, yeah, we thought we were actually going to be testing like people. We didn't realize we were just going to come down here and pretend. So I can't trust that. So getting back to New York, you got Cuomo, who mysteriously all of a sudden uncovered 15,000 ventilators. Well, I didn't know they were here. Thank God. I mean, he knew they were there, but you know, they were killing people on ventilators. It's enough doctors have come forward saying that, and they all get classified as quacks and conspiracy theorists. And these are professional MDs and PhDs and DOs and nurse practitioners, APRNs. They're all coming forward saying the same thing. But that was killing them. So Cuomo started forcing, you know, assisted living communities to accept COVID patients. I mean, and look at our society. We're going to, you know, George Floyd had his air taken away from him by a cop, which sucks. It shouldn't have ever happened. If it happened that way, who knows? I personally think it did, but it wasn't right either way. But the entire world went nuts on it. And here, a governor murdered some of your parents and grandparents. maybe you're, maybe it could have been your spouse. You know, let's say you're, 85 years old and pretty healthy, and your 90-year-old husband is in the assisted living and catches this COVID from a forced mandate from Cuomo. He's a murderer. How in the world is nobody going nuts up there? Why is he not getting just blasted? How is he able to function? How is he able to go on the air and not just get annihilated by the citizens and the people who lost loved ones up there? He also mandated and put into order that doctors were not allowed to prescribe hydroxychloroquine with Zinthromax in early stage COVID patients. Could do it in late stage when they're about to die, which is when it's not effective. There's plenty of stuff. I'm amazed. There's so many brainwashed people saying, "Oh yeah, that hydroxychloroquine, that stuff didn't work." I've read something said that. Well, the only real negative published article got retracted because they were asked about their data and they couldn't give it to them. Can't trust that either, right? So, golly, this is just nuts even talking about it. I think we've walked about 2 miles. How are y'all feeling? Pretty good so far? I feel like cardiovascularly I'm doing well. This helps me get rid of the cortisol from the day and get some good night's sleep, hopefully. Maybe grab some melatonin tonight. That's good for you too, as long as you don't overdo it. Get reliant on it, you know. So he took away something that doctors all around the world said was working. Doctors right here in the US have had tremendous success if it gets implemented early on. Even on my wall right now, there's a doc who mentioned his success with it. 100% success. Not one patient went to the ER. I think he treated 65 patients with it. Not one went to the ER. None of them died, obviously. And I guess he's probably a quack, right? He signed off on his letterhead and listed out his credentials. I don't think doctors risk their license to come up with something like that. Doctors, the good doctors, are just pissed off right now that they see people getting killed and they know how to help them. The government's interfering. So when a governor starts telling doctors how they can practice medicine, you got to not trust that. If you trust that, you got to wake the F up. I almost said it, man. I'm getting so mad. But you got to wake the F up. If you trust a governor to implement medical practice, I can't help you with that. So anyway, also, then the numbers weren't getting up there, even with the false numbers, even with the numbers where everybody was a COVID patient. There just weren't enough. So then I think 3,700 people died at home. People weren't going to the hospital. You weren't allowed to unless you had COVID symptoms. So people were dying from things that they normally could have lived from. So that's more murder. I wish I could be in front of him. I'd love to just call him a murderer, see what his response would be. He'd lie. He's a great liar. He's a cocky liar too. He smirks, thinks it's funny, makes little jokes all along the way. Oh, with his little accent. You know, he's just such a scumbag. What a dirtball. But 3,700 people died at home for all the reasons that could have been prevented. And so guess what? All of a sudden, New York jumped in death rate. 3,700 more deaths were reported. How can you trust that? How can you let them kill us based on that? I cannot. I don't know really what I can do. I'm just going to protect my family and me. I'm not going to allow people to shame me and tell me, oh, you posting these things, or wait until you get a family member that gets it. Telling people not to wear masks, that's going to kill people. You sound so ignorant. A mask. Think about this. They basically said you have to wear a mask. And if you ask them and say, well, what kind of mask? They go, I don't know. Whatever. Put a gym sock over your face. That's going to stop the spread of a pandemic. Well, it's getting nice and dark. Look at that nice twilight look behind us. Now all you see is kind of like a ghostly image. But think about that for a minute. There's a mask mandate, but the only real requirement is that you put a face covering on. A covering. You could take pantyhose, like you were robbing a bank, put them over your face and you qualify. And people are going, If you don't wear a mask, you're part of the problem. Okay. Yep. I won't buy into a bunch of crooked scumbag globalists who want our country to go down the shitter and cause us all to get sicker and economically destroyed, spiritually destroyed. No way. Look at what happened during the Obama reign. There's more chaos that's going on there. So you got the Obama reign. Look at how many ways he removed God from our country. I take that back. Can never remove God. God's not removable. But diverted attention away from God in our country. And President Trump nonstop, God this, God bless you, God bless me, God bless our country. God's got our back. We're going to fight through this. You got Pence talking about God and how he's, God is our Lord and Savior is so incredible, and God is the most amazing creator. Whew. Now here's where I struggle though. Man, early on, I felt like all we got to do is make it to the election. If Trump wins, we're good. Now, I don't know that it's ever going to get fixed, you guys. I feel like now is time to, this is the time where we get a little bit serious, and I've been cutting up a little bit. Now's the time to really work on yourself, work on your spirituality, work on your connection with the Lord above, work on what's important, what's really important. Stop living of this world, quit worrying about material items and possessions, something I'm working heavy on right now. 4 little kids, I've been just trying to give them everything that I possibly can that I didn't have when I was little, and now I'm realizing that they don't give a shit. They just want to snuggle. Arya told me tonight, she said, Daddy, will you sneak into bed with us and snuggle with us, but at least wake us up this time and let me know you're here? That's what they want. So work on that. Work on your immune system. Boy, it's getting humid. Look at that, it's fogging up. Work on your immune system while you got this free time, if you do have free time. Some people are working pretty hard still. But if you have free time, and even if you are working hard, definitely work hard on your immune system. Get the supplements in your body. Get some elderberry. Get some vitamin C. Get some zinc, and don't overdo the zinc. Get some D3. Get some A. Get magnesium. Get some reishi. Get some ashwagandha, some astragalus. Get all that good stuff. Find out what makes you feel good. Get some super greens. Get some protein powder. And get jacked up, man. Because we're going to need it. This is not going to be a walk in the park. It's about to get worse. Just look around. This country is jacked up, man. More jacked up than you can ever believe that we're actually talking about. I can't even believe. I haven't even touched probably 10% of what's going on. Look what's going on in the government. You got Flynn was set up, proven to be set up. You got Obama was involved in that. Biden was in it. Biden in Ukraine. You got Hunter Biden in Ukraine and China funneling millions of dollars. Extortion everywhere. You've got pedophilia happening. You got the Epstein Island. There are plenty of celebrities and elitists and globalists and Bill Gates traveling down there, where it was well known that he had underage prostitutes that they were trafficking, really sex slaves. You can't call them prostitutes because those kids weren't getting compensated. They were getting just beat. Shit, man. Got Weinstein locked up. Yeah, a settlement that just happened, like $19 million for 2 girls, 2 women that just got abused to the point where their life is completely devastated. Money's not going to fix that. Look at all that's going on. You got Hillary. She's been put on trial. She tried to get out of her email situation. They said, nope, we're going to talk to you about it. They've discovered that Benghazi was complete failure on their part, that it was politically based. They didn't want to admit that there was a terrorist attack down there on our embassy because it was an election year. So those 4 men died because of that. These people are freaking murderers, man. And we're taking their word for it. And people are getting in line and saying, what do I do next? Would you like me to wear a red mask on Mondays and a blue one on Tuesdays? I mean, waiting, clinging to their seat for the governors to come out and give their little address. Who gives a shit what they're saying? They can't tell you what you can do with your own health. It's ludicrous. They can't tell you can't earn a living. They can't determine you're non-essential. Look what's going on in Florida. They've allowed everyone to stay open but bars. How is it that bars are to blame for this? I don't even go to bars, so I'm not biased towards them. But think about that. So how can you trust anything? Someone please give me one thing that you trust 100%. And I'm not talking about, oh, I trust my wife. I'm talking about what part of this entire chaotic scam, this hoax that we've all been put through, what is the one thing that you have 100% trust in? Because I can't find it. I'm trying to during this walk. I think we've hit, let me see how far have we gone? Oh yeah, we're cooking. We're almost at 3 miles now, so we're almost done. I can't find anything that is trustworthy. And yet the entire nation, not the entire, but an overwhelming majority of the population is like fully programmed to just do whatever. And a lot of it's financial. Like you can't trust that either. Look at the stimulus. It's a full ambush on the middle class. So if somebody was a low income earner, like making $20,000, $30,000 a year, they just got a massive raise to not work. They now make $60,000, right? Comes in, they don't have to worry about did their employer deposit the money in their account, because it comes straight from the government. Boom, right in their account. Bam, $600 plus whatever your state unemployment is. Here in Florida, it's $875 total. So that's about $60K, right? When you factor in what, it's a net amount that you're receiving. So look at that. Now, they want to go back to work? Hell no. They're like, yeah, spike, masks, hell yeah. We ain't going back to work. You make triple the money to do nothing? Can't blame them, really, can't. Now let's put you in the middle class. Let's say you make $75, $80, $90, $120,000 and you live even just at your means, not over your means, maybe a little bit under your means. Let's just say right at your means. And now you get a pay cut down to $60K. Okay. Now, one of the things that's going to happen that a lot of people are too short-sighted to see. Too many people live for the very moment that they're in. I like to see what's coming from the future so I don't get blindsided, because I used to live that other way and I used to get blindsided. So I've learned to look forward, especially having kids. It's my duty to be prepared for upcoming tragedy. It's sad that I got to even say that, but it's true. So all these people laying out of work, they're not realizing that all these small businesses are going under and all the big businesses are cutting back massively. So let's just say tomorrow they go, okay, we're just kidding, we can all go back to normal. The economic carnage has happened, folks. It's already happened. It's not about to happen. And I feel like a lot of people feel like it hasn't happened because of the fact that, they're getting that check. So they're not feeling it. Or people that can already work from home and still earn the same living they had before this happened, or just take a minor reduction. It's hard to see that it's happened, but it's totally happened. So those jobs aren't going to be there. They're gone. Bye-bye. So how are all these people going to get work? Everybody's going to have to get real creative and entrepreneurial, like rapidly, and then find people to buy whatever it is that they've got. So it's devastational. So going a little further, wow, we're at 40. Is anyone still listening? If you are, I love you. I love everybody, really. I don't come across that way sometimes. But I truly do love the world, even though it is jacked up, because this isn't my final resting point. I'm, eternal life with the Lord, our Savior. It's pretty exciting, looking very favorable right now. And not in that way, right? I'm gonna fight until the end. But the money is jacked up right now. Our dollar is in very, very poor position. So you look at the debt load right now, we're at like 26 trillion, 230 something billion. however many millions and however many hundreds of thousands, and it's climbing rapidly. That's going to cause hyperinflation. Get ready to see milk get, unaffordable, if it's even available anymore, because Kill Bill Gates is also trying to end our supply chain of our natural produce, and he's a heavy investor in Beyond Meats and those lab grown meats. So if you're willing to eat stuff that's been grown in a lab, when you have natural food available, I can't talk to you about that. You're just going to have to live through that on your own. But anyway, any of our things that we normally buy are going to be extremely expensive, if even available, if we're even allowed to get them, unless we meet certain requirements. For example, right now, there are certain places you can't go buy stuff unless you wear your face covering. So you can go in there with your panties on over your face. That'd be kind of funny if a whole county all agreed to wear underwear on their face and go into City Hall and just act normal like nothing was going on. But yeah, there's economic tragedy ahead, folks. You can't print that much money and it not have a rebound effect. It doesn't happen. They're trying to outrun it, and they're probably going to have to do it again, because the stimulus money runs out end of this month and nobody's even close to being okay. So get ready for more money to get printed. So the dollar value is going to just plummet. So that's what I'm telling you all. I get asked a lot through private messages and text messages, well, you seem to have researched a lot of this. What exactly do you think we should do? And honestly, I don't know that there is a fix to it, because there's too many people that are screwed up. There's too many people are brainwashed. There's too many evil people in high places right now. So we really do need a miracle. Only God can correct this. I don't think we can. So I recommend prayer, heavy, heavy prayer. Not just for correction, not just for safety, not just for your own spiritual wellness, but, pray for even these dirtbag leaders that somehow they wake up and realize how bad they are and that they don't want to do it anymore. I mean, that happens sometimes. I mean, look at Pelosi. I mean, she's probably one of the most evil people in Congress. And I mean, how is she going to answer that to the Lord? She's probably an atheist, Satanist, maybe an atheist. I don't know. Because Christians would never do what these people are doing. So I have to believe that Satan, who, if you look in the Bible, roams the earth looking to devour. He's been devouring at a rapid pace. And part of that devouring is conversion. So when people let him in, he takes over beyond what they thought. It's usually enticement, especially these politicians. They look at, George Soros dangles, $1 million paycheck above their head, and they say, what would you like for me to do, George? The Rockefeller Group, all those scumbags, Bill and Melinda Gates, I mean, they're all just elitist. Look at Jeff Bezos. He got divorced, lost half his fortune in 1 year, is already back to as wealthy as he was. How do you think that happens? How do you think look at the Obamas' net worth up in the 20, 30, 40 million right now? They didn't have that before being president. So how can you trust that? Anyway, folks, I love you. We're almost at an hour. So we've walked over 3 miles. I think we hit like 3.5. And I just want to tell you thank you. God bless you. And stay the course.